Good morning, everyone. So in our last class, we have completed what we completed in the last class, the F4 help. Yeah. So we have completed this this one, F4 help functionality. So in today's class, we are going to see how to filter the table data. So in simple words, how to apply the filtering. So this is what we are going to see in today's class. So to understand how to apply the filters, those who are non-ABAPers, you need some basics, and those who are ABAPers, so that is just a cakewalk for you. So I will be touching up a few basics about the ABAP so that the non-ABAPers can understand. But in the worst case, if the non-ABAPers did not understand, you no need to feel bad. As I told you, you just whatever the portion that you have understand. So along with that, if you are perfect in the front end, that is more than enough. Okay, right. So let me just run. Let me open the OData service. So we know that this is the metadata document of the OData service. And to call this particular method, so how are we calling this method? We are calling this method by using the OData service URL and then / employee set. So this particular URL is hitting this method employee set underscore get underscore entity set. Now I want to apply filters. So applying filters means what? Applying filters means I want to get the employees whose salary is greater than some 15 lakhs, or I want to get the employees whose skill is SAP UI5 or ABAP. I want the employees whose designation is developer. So like this, I can apply any filter. Okay. So basically, how to apply a filter? So from the front end SAP UI5 to the backend, how to apply the filter? So let us understand. So we know that SAP UI5 is calling this URL, and this URL internally hitting this method. So this is automatically this method is getting called, and as a result, the line number 2, the logic at the line number 2 getting executed. So what is this line? The line is select star from the table, and because of which all the records in the table are selected and they are kept into the returning data parameter, which is ET entity set, right? So which is a returning data parameter. And as a result, all the data is getting sent to the front end. So this is what we know already. Now, to this particular OData service URL, through this particular OData service URL, to apply the filters, so let us see the syntax of sending the filters. You will write your entity set followed by $filter equals to. So here $filter equals to is part of the syntax. It's a part of the syntax. Okay, and after that, so basically this indicates that this fellow want to supply some filters. Okay, so $filter equals to, so this particular what we call this as a URI convention indicates that, so this fellow want to supply some filters to this particular employee set underscore get underscore entity set method. Okay, so to this method, those filters will be supplied. So how to apply? Your field name, for example, salary, and then operator, for example, greater than, and the value, for example, 10 lakhs. So this is 1 lakh, I guess. Yeah. 10 lakhs, like this. So this particular string, which is right side of the equals to, so this is called a filter. Okay, And this question mark dollar filter equals to, that is called filter convention, filter URI notation. Okay, that's kind of a syntax. So like this, you can apply a single filter or you can apply multiple filters as well. For example, you want the people whose salary is greater than 10 lakhs and also you want skill as SAP UI5. Space skill equals to SAP UI5. So like this, you can apply any number of multiple filters as well. Okay. So whatever the filters that you are supplying from here, so these filters will be passed to this method automatically. Okay. So they come and sit in this method in a input parameter. So here there are parameters. So they automatically come and sit in this parameter called IT filter select options. So before we get into this, I want to tell you some basics about ABAP. Okay, and after that we'll come again to this IT filter select options. I will show its structure, everything. Okay, right. So this is purely for ABAP, guys. So in ABAP, the first thing you need to understand is structure. Second one is internal table. So these two things are very quite common and repetitive, I can say. And third thing, one more thing you need to understand about here is select option table. Select option table. So these three things you need to understand. First of all, structure. So basically, a structure is something which can hold one record. Okay, so whenever I say structure, so you can assume that it can hold one record. It can hold one record data. For example, I want to store one employee record, then you need a structure variable. You need a variable which is of type structure. Okay. So internal table. So basically internal table means, so it can store multiple records. For example, I want to store multiple employee records, then basically I can store in an internal table. Okay, internal table which is of type again our table. Okay, so basically not any internal table can store multiple records of a particular table. Obviously our employee table contains some 9 columns. Maybe some other table contains 15 columns. Okay, so basically what I am saying is, the structure is something which stores one record, but one record of what? One record of a particular table. Okay. So similarly, internal table can store multiple records of a particular table. So you need to define a data type. So if you define a data type with a structure of a table, then it can store one record of that table only. If you define a data type as a table type of a particular database table, then it becomes an internal table and it can store multiple records. Okay, so let me write one statement. Sorry, I'm going to JavaScript. So let's say I'm defining, so data, so this is how you define the variables in ABAP, but nowadays we got inline declaration as well, but I'm going with the classic ABAP. So data, for example, ls underscore emp, and if I say type means data type. So type z batch 72 underscore employees. Okay. So let's say I declared this particular statement, data. So this is called variable name. Okay, ls underscore emp. And type means it's a data type. Okay, this variable's data type is type. So what is its data type? I said my table itself. So whenever you declare a variable and say type space its table name, then this is a structure. So this becomes a structure. And structure means ls underscore emp can store one record of this employee table. But instead, if I say lt underscore emp type standard table of ZB72 underscore employees. So if I say like this, now what I said, LT underscore EMP is of type standard table of this particular structure. So LT underscore EMP becomes internal table. So internal table means this LT underscore EMP can store multiple records of this database table. Okay. So that is why during the variable declaration, you can see I used LS here, LS, but I used LT here. Okay. So this is one naming convention, guys, like LS, ES, or IS. So if a variable, normally in ABAP, this is a very common convention, like the first two letters and then we give an underscore. So in the first two letters, if it is ending with yes, then you need to understand it is structure. LS, ES, IS, all these indicates it is structure. Structure means you can store one record. Okay. And then, so here you can see LT underscore EMP, LT. So the LT, T indicates internal table, T table. Okay. So if a variable is declared by using LT, IT, ET, okay. So all these indicate their internal table, means multiple records. Okay. It can store multiple records. And generally there is one more thing which is called work area. Okay. So this is also a basic of ABAP. You need to understand this also, work area. So what is work area? Work area is also kind of structure only. Work area is also kind of a structure. This can also hold one record of a table, but work area is used during the looping of an internal table. For example, so let's say I declared this LT underscore EMP as type standard table of this one. So obviously this LT underscore EMP is an internal table now. It's an internal table. Now I want to loop every record of this internal table. Then you will write like this. Loop at IT underscore EMP into, and for every iteration, so let's say there are 10 records in employee table. So for the first iteration, first record will come. For the second iteration, second record will come, right? And you want to do some any manipulations in that particular record, then so during the looping, each record we store in a work area. We store in this work area. Okay. So loop at IT underscore EMP into this work area. So what happens for the first iteration, first record will come and sit in this work area. In the second iteration, second record will come and sit in this work area. So basically work area and structure both kind of same only, but work area is something that use during the looping especially. Okay, so during the looping, every record will go and sit in this work area. For the first iteration, first record, second iteration, second record, like that. So any manipulations you want to do, you will do in this work area. Okay, like for example, in that if you want to write some condition like if work area means that record, that ith record hyphen, so in that record maybe employee ID. Okay, so you want to check if this particular employee ID equal to something. Sorry, I'm getting JavaScript syntax. So employee ID equal to something. So this is how basically you use the work areas. Okay, so if the work area is nothing but a structure, so which contains the record in the ith iteration. Okay, in every iteration, I mean to say. Okay, so this is the basics, guys. Let me sum up. So first thing, structure, it can store one record. Internal table, it can store multiple records. Okay, and then work area, that can also store one record only. Work area is mainly used so during the looping. So whenever you want to loop an internal table, so you loop the internal table and take each record and store that record in a work area. Okay, so that is what is work area. So these are basics of ABAP actually, not part of OData training, but still I want people to understand. And one more thing, select option table. Okay, so this is also very important to understand today's class, select option table. But before I go to select option table, I want to explain how you will filter the data. Okay, so all of you listen. So if I write select star from ZB72 underscore employees, so what you will get? You will get all the records of the table. Agreed? You will get all the records of the table. Okay. But let's say I have written something like this. Select star from ZB72 underscore employees where salary greater than 10 lakhs. Okay, what is this, 1 lakh, right? Yeah, 10 lakhs. Now tell me what records you will get. So here the select query is having a where condition. So after the where condition, what exactly we have? We have salary greater than 10 lakhs. Salary greater than 10 lakhs. So obviously you will get only those employees whose salary is greater than 10 lakhs. So whenever you want to filter a table, basically we apply a where condition. Whenever you want to apply a table records, you will apply a where condition. Now inside the where condition, after the where condition, whatever the filters that we are applying, if you know the exact filter name, if you know the exact operator, if you know the exact value, so all these things, then you can straight away write this kind of logic with a where condition like this, where salary greater than 10 lakhs. Now think from a web application perspective. The web application applies the filters in the front end, right? So 1 second, let me open our launchpad. It's very important to understand, guys, especially non-ABAPers. So let me open employee management. Yeah. Now basically from where you are applying the filters, you are not directly applying the filters at the back end, right? So basically the filter starts from the front end. Okay. So you are selecting your filters from here. Employee ID 100001, whatever. Okay, let us take only one filter simply. So salary greater than 10 lakhs, for example. Okay. And 0000. Okay, got it. So basically your operator and the value from where you are giving from the front end, right? So for the other fields I have taken equal to as a default operator, but for the salary the operator is something that is coming from the front end. Okay, so not only that, basically we never know what is the exact filter. So the filter can be employee ID, the filter can be employee name, the filter can be designation, the filter can be skill. So basically my point is, in this particular filter, this is basically called as a filter. In this filter there are three things. One is the field name on which you want to do the filter, so which is in this case salary. Okay, that is a field name. Second one is operator, and third one is value. So three things are there in a filter. One is field name on which you want to do the filter. Second one, operator. So the operator that you want, how you want to apply, and then the value. So this is what is one single filter. Okay, all these combinedly, that is called one single filter. And all the three are coming from the front end only. All the three are coming from the front end only. And it can be a single filter, it can be multiple filters as well, right? So you can see in the front end, it is not just a single filter, it can be multiple filters as well. Okay. So in such a situation, when you don't know the exact operator and the value, so these kind of situations, there is another way of doing the filtering, and that is by using a select option table. By using a select option table. So basically what happens is, if you first let us understand the select option structure, and then we'll write a select query using this select option table, and then we'll see what happens when you supply the filters like this from front end to the back end. Okay, right. So let me summarize once again. So we write a where condition, and followed by the where condition we write a field name and the operator and the value only when you want to filter basing on a specific field. You know the field already. Okay, you know that you want to filter basing on salary only. If that is the case, you can write where salary greater than something. Okay, getting my point, guys? So after the where condition, after the where statement, you can give the field name. So this particular field name you can give only when you are sure that you have to filter basing on only salary. Okay, but the real-time applications, we do not know what end user will select from the front end. So which field? It can be salary, it can be employee ID also, we don't know, right? So in such a situation, the select option tables will be useful even for the operators as well. So we don't know the operator also, right? It can be greater than, it can be less than. So here, not only greater than, 6 options are there. So which one he will select, how would I know, right? Now let us understand the select option table, and then you will understand what the entire explanation that I have given so far. Now in ABAP, there is one more predefined kind of structure called select option structure. So select option table, you can consider it as. So one second. What is this select option table? So it looks like this, guys. The select option table has 4 columns, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Give me 1 second. Yeah. So basically the select option table contains 4 columns. The first column name is called sign, S-I-G-N, sign. So this column you can ignore because this column is not required when you are working from the Fiori side. This sign column will always have a value called I. Okay, so you can consider that as a default value. So sign and then option and then low, and 4th column is high. Not height, this is high, sorry. So low and then H-I-G-H, high. Sign, option, low, high. Okay. So once again, select option table contains 4 columns. So basically select options, first of all, it's a structure. So it's a structure with 4 columns. sign option low high, sign option low high. So sign column always contain I, so ignore that. Option low and high, so these two, let us see what they contains. The option contains operator, so it will be filled with the operator. Low contains the value 1, we can call it as. High will be filled only when the operator is between. If the operator is BT stands for between, then only the high value filled, otherwise high value is optional. Now how this select option table help in filtering, let us understand. So whatever the operator, whatever the filters that you are applying from the front end, so these values will go and sit, okay, so let's assume if these values go and sit in this select option table like this, for example. Operator is, for example, greater than, so I'm writing here greater than. So low value is some 10,000, 10 lakhs. Okay. So basically the operator is nothing but the operator that you applied from the front end. So this particular operator, greater than or whatever. So basically value 1 is nothing but your low column. So low column will be filled with, so value 1. High column will be empty until unless the operator is between. So remember guys, if the operator is between, then only low and high, both the values will be filled. Okay. So now let's assume I have a select option table like this. So I'm giving its name as LT underscore salary. For example, I'm giving a name for this one as LT underscore salary. So it has the sign option low high columns, sign option low and high. Now sign is automatically filled with I, so I'm not worrying about it. So option is greater than and low is 10 lakhs, for example. Okay. So if you have this particular value filled in this select option table, LT underscore salary, and if I want to filter my main table, that is select star from ZB72 underscore employees. So previously, how did you filter? So previously you filtered by using where salary, you have written salary, so you have written greater than and then 10 lakhs. So this is how you filtered previously. So like this we can filter only when we know the operator, we know the value. Okay, both are static, for example. But if we don't know what is the operator, okay, we don't know what is the values as well, then in that case we can use this select option table in the where condition like this. So select star from ZB72 underscore employees where salary greater than, sorry, not salary, salary in LT underscore salary. Now see the difference between this statement and this statement. In this particular statement, we clearly said salary greater than and the value also. But in this statement, we will say select star from the table where salary in, and after in what I said, after the in I am pointing to this particular table. Where salary in this particular select option table. So it goes to the select option table and see for the operators and the value. Got it? Okay, so this is how we use the select option table in the where condition. So in the where condition, there are two ways, guys. Where we can clearly write the field name, operator, value, all the three things. So we can write, but this will not be dynamic. Okay, this will not be dynamic. So if you want your filters to be dynamic, then you need to put them into a select option table. Okay, so select star from this table where salary, and you use a in class, we call that as a in class, and then you will keep this select option table, LT underscore salary. What is LT underscore salary? It's a select option table. So when you keep LT underscore salary, it automatically go and check their the operator values and all, and the table gets filtered automatically. Okay, so now you know what is a structure, now you know what is the internal table, now you know what is a select option table. Okay, now let's get into the action. Okay, so basically the SAP UI5, from the web application, when you select the operators and all, so internally within the coding, so this is what exactly we will hit the OData service URL. So this OData service URL will hit your method, so this method. Okay, so let me set a external breakpoint. So you need to go to more and set a external breakpoint. Just like we are keeping the breakpoints in JavaScript, so similarly you can also keep the breakpoints in, in ABAP as well. Okay.